2 in New Mexico, while an avalanche of water leaves at least 1 dead in Italy. Rebuilding their lives. A Florida family looks to the future after a tornado destroyed decades of memories.
We're going to rebuild on this property. I'm not going to just walk away from it.
Snow is here. Utah sees the first storm of the season, and some people can't contain their excitement.
We had to get day one in the books.
Saving sea turtles. The effort's underway along the Carolina coast.
During these cooler months, their focus becomes rescuing turtles that are sick or injured.
And how to make sure your furnace is ready for winter.
Servicing your home heating appliance yearly is an important step to making sure you stay warm this winter.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Well, good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Janae Bowens. 2 more tropical storms developed over the weekend. Nadine struck Belize on Saturday. It has since dissipated. Right now, Oscar is battering Cuba. Florida meteorologist Jennifer Collins is tracking the tropics this morning.
We're monitoring Oscar. This is bringing heavy rainfall and flooding concerns to parts of Cuba, which is dealing with that blackout as well across the island. Now, heavy rainfall already spreading across the southeast Bahamas at this time, too. Now, Oscar will begin to move north after bringing torrential rainfall to this region here, eventually moving its way into the central Atlantic, where it will gradually weaken as it merges with a frontal boundary there. For us, though, high pressure will keep the system in the Atlantic, so not really much of a concern for us, but it will kick up surf across our area beaches just due to an onshore wind flow. So far this season, we've had 15 total storms. We had Nadine form earlier this weekend that made landfall along the coast of Belize in Central America. Patty is the next name of the season.
Major flooding in New Mexico over the weekend. This was the scene in Roswell. State police reported yesterday that all roads into the city were closed after more than 5 inches of rain set off flash flooding. That's an all-time daily record. At least 2 people are dead. Search and rescue efforts are ongoing this morning. The rushing water flooded homes, swept cars off roads, and even washed away some asphalt. At least 1 person is dead in northeast Italy after heavy rain caused extensive flooding across the region. One local official called it an avalanche of water. The victim died when his car was swept away. More than 500 firefighters have been working to rescue people and animals trapped by the floods. Now, stories of survival continue streaming in from Florida in the wake of devastating tornadoes from Hurricane Milton. Dylan Huberman has the story of a family looking to build new memories after a twister raised ones that were 3 decades in the making.
The Mijanowski family has lived in this house on Southeast Coley Avenue in Stewart for more than 30 years. Wednesday, October 9th, the tornadoes reduced their home to rubble, taking with it decades of memories. Michael Mijanowski saw the tornado before it hit, making sure his family took cover.
To actually see stuff flying in the air in a circle and, be in shock of I can't explain the feeling. You go into a fight or flight mode. Our dog was running, by my foot, grabbed her by the neck and kind of started running into our closet area, which is this space here.
His younger brother, Mitchell, had to react fast to get there.
I was in the shower and the lights went off and all I hear is my mom and brother yell, "Tornado." So I had no chance to even put clothes on. I just ran with them to the closet where we took cover. And then once the structure, fell on us, the main goal was to get out with clothes on or not.
The closet they sheltered in was exactly where I'm standing. And when they got out, they saw that their home of 3 decades was destroyed. But their mother, Jackie, tells me she's just thankful they're alive.
I love these guys. If anything would have happened to them, I don't know what would have happened to me. I'm just glad that they're here. I really am. I'm glad they're here.
Other family members survived in this room, and they were eventually helped out of the rubble. Despite this unthinkable tragedy, Jackie says this family will persevere through this.
We're going to rebuild on this property. I'm not going to just walk away from it. We're going to rebuild and start afresh.
Now, volunteers are still rolling up their sleeves in the village of Wellington, southwest of Palm Beach, cleaning up the trash and debris left behind by Hurricane Milton. The Wellington village manager says that on Saturday, workers collected more than 4,000 cubic yards of storm debris. They say this brings the total amount to 16,000 yards picked up in just 1 week. Crews have been working daily trying to speed up the cleanup process. Now, southern Utah saw its first snow of the season on Friday. Most of it has already melted, but it was causing some big problems. Here's what Liv Kelleher found in the region.
Mountain bike race, but it got canceled, so now I'm just playing in the snow.
2,500 high school students from across the state left without the chance to race.
Water on the trails and the slick rock, it definitely becomes a safety issue.
According to George Colson, the Iron County Emergency Management Department head, nearly 4 inches of snow stuck in Cedar City.
I just thought it would be like a pretty muddy race, cold, muddy, kind of miserable that way. I didn't think there'd be this much snow.
In a phone call, Colson told me that the snow is heavy and wet, causing several downed power lines and snapped trees. SR 143 leading up to Bryan Head in a near total whiteout and slushy, messy road conditions throughout Cedar City and Parowan. Colson says with temperatures starting to rise, the snow won't be sticking around for long.
I'm glad there's snow. The kids have just been playing and having fun, so it hasn't been a total loss coming up and having the race canceled. It's been fun.
Utah's Alta Ski Resort was also hit with snow. Salt Lake City meteorologist Chase Thomason caught up with some folks who went there to ski, even though there was not much snow on the ground.
We had to get day one in the books, and it was a little bit underwhelming, but it's great to be up here. Alta magic, as they say.
For many of us, this will likely be a very different winter compared to last year. Depending on where you live, it could be colder and snowier or drier and warmer. The changes are thanks to the arrival of the climate pattern known as La Nina. Meteorologist Mitchell Coombs explains exactly what La Nina is.
La Nina and its counterpart El Nino begin thousands of miles away out in the Pacific Ocean. Trade winds blowing from east to west across the Pacific blow warm surface water towards Australia and Asia. This allows cold water from the depths to rise to the surface in a process known as upwelling. Generally, this cold water stays close to the coast of South America. However, in a La Nina year, those trade winds are even stronger, which pushes that warm water further to the west, allowing for colder water in the central Pacific near the equator. This drops those temperatures a few degrees below normal and can have impacts on the weather around the globe.
The colder temperatures mean an end to turtle nesting season in North Carolina. As Elena Laster reports, although nesting patrols are wrapping up, there's still plenty of conservation work to be done.
We're always preparing for the next season.
Dale Backer has been a volunteer with the Sea Turtle Patrol for 16 years. She says that protecting the turtle nests is their way to give back.
As we have so much human interaction on our beach, so we have lights from the homes to contend with, fishermen, and then just the noise from all the visitors.
While they no longer have to monitor the beaches for hatchlings, they are still working to protect the turtles, especially as it gets cooler.
If you see a turtle, even if they look dead, please call us immediately. Cold stuns often present as being deceased. But if we can get them in and they get warmed back up slowly, a lot of times they are releasable.
During these cooler months, their focus becomes rescuing turtles that are sick or injured. They collaborate with the Center for Marine Sciences and Technology.
They'll nurse them back to health and then release them as soon as possible.
This year, weather was a big impact on the nests. King tides washed away nests throughout NC, including 2 here in Emerald Isle.
We were pleasantly surprised at some of the nests that had gone underwater a few times. We thought we had lost, ended up hatching. So we ended our season with a 65% hatch rate. So we were very happy about that.
Even with weather damage, hatch rates were about average this year.
For more great weather content, be sure to check us out on social media. You can find us on all your favorite platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left corner of your screen. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll show you what you can do now to make sure your heater is ready for the winter ahead. And we'll help you better understand the different types of winter precipitation.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have a very warm air mass settling into the Northeast today. Temperatures are starting the 50s early by afternoon. We're back in the 70s to, in some cases, near 80 degrees. These temps are going to be more representative of August rather than late October, and we'll have unlimited sunshine. Now, we'll start playing games with some low clouds and fog at times, particularly in northern New England Tuesday, Wednesday. So we're seeing a wide range in temperatures from 60s to 70s and even some 80s. Enjoy.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Your weather pattern here is going to be as quiet as can be. For the last week, we have seen nothing but high pressure, and that will continue into this week. However, we will see a change in your temperatures as high pressure shifts from our west off to the east, which means our winds will become more southerly. We will see some much warmer air coming in. Monday, we're going to be talking about near 80 degrees across the region with the exception of the mountains in the 70s, and still another warm one on Tuesday before some cooler air that arrives on Thursday.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Michael Arenberg with a look at your Southeast regional forecast for this Monday. A few coastal showers possible for much of the Florida coastline. Only a 30% rain chance as we see soon-to-be tropical storm Oscar pass about 400 to 500 miles to the east. The rest of the Southeast under gorgeous high pressure from the Carolinas and the Atlantic coast to the Mississippi and beyond and down to the Gulf Coast. Plenty of sunshine out there. Nice quiet weather regime. High temperatures, upper 70s and low 80s for much of the area except for mid 80s down in central and south Florida.
The National Weather Desk.
A deadly deer disease plaguing parts of Michigan could be letting up thanks to the cooling weather. Mackenzie Decker reports.
The end could be near for a widespread deer disease.
Typically after a good frost or two, these flies pretty well die off.
EHD, or epizootic hemorrhagic disease, hit parts of Michigan hard this year.
As of a couple of days ago, we had about 4,000 deer reported.
Cases are confirmed in 12 counties throughout southwest Michigan, with 6 more pending results, marking the worst disease outbreak since 2012. But the spread should soon come to an end following the first frost of the year.
You might still see a little bit of infection or a few deer that will still die after that frost because if they've been infected prior, they can live for several days to a week.
Chad Fedewa, acting deer management specialist with Michigan's Department of Natural Resources, says it's not as bad as it seems.
I don't want to sound like I'm minimizing the impact on some areas, but when you look at the broader picture, there's not a large concern that the overall deer population is going to have a long-term impact.
Deer populations will rebound over time.
We do see these deer populations recover. Even in areas that might have 80-90% mortality, deer numbers do come back within 2-3 years.
Even if hunting season looks a bit different this year.
Certainly for those folks hunting in those areas that are highly impacted, it's going to be pretty devastating this year from a hunting standpoint.
Limited visibility, blowing snow, icy roads, and frigid temperatures. That's what plow drivers are up against when it comes to making the roads passable during winter weather. In Portland, Oregon, snowplow drivers are practicing for the cold months ahead. Meteorologist Allison Gutlieber has more.
Each October, PBOT crews return to the Portland International Raceway to brush up on their snowplow skills and practice in a safe environment.
And then after the event, our drivers will go and drive the snow routes, the winter weather routes, to make sure they get familiar with the roads.
So what kind of conditions can we expect? The National Weather Service's Climate Prediction Center calls for a transition to La Nina conditions this fall. That can mean cooler, wetter weather in the Pacific Northwest. It's exciting news for Timberline Lodge.
Timberline, we're fortunate enough where, we typically get lots of snow anyway. So La Nina, even a weaker or moderate one one can bring us even more snow. Everyone knows that last year, industry-wide from east to west, it was a pretty rough year for ski areas. So we're looking forward to this improved forecast.
Marketing Director John Burton says of the 5 heaviest snowfall years, all were La Niñas. Out of the past 10 years, 4 La Niña years have resulted in a November opening.
Now, when it comes to winter weather, snow often comes to mind, but there's more. Meteorologist Amanda Verrier recently posted on TikTok about the different types of winter precipitation. Let's take a look.
One way to differentiate all of these is the atmospheric conditions. Is it warm, cold, or somewhere in between? Let's start with hail. Hail is commonly referred to as a ball of ice, and it's 0.2 plus inches in size, so it needs to be bigger than that to be considered hail. These are formed in strong updrafts of a thunderstorm where water continuously freezes and unfreezes around the same center. Graupel is actually snowflakes that collect super cooled water droplets on their way down to the ground. Now, they need to be less than 0.2 inches in size. They're also called snow pellets or soft hail because unlike hail, you can easily squish them in your fingers. Sleet or ice pellets is snow that melts then refreezes before reaching the ground. This is called riming. Now, sleet is mainly secluded to winter storms. Snow is water vapor that turns to ice in the clouds without going through that liquid stage. This is called deposition. Usually when we see snowfall, they're kind of clumped together, not individual flakes.
Now, servicing your home heating appliance annually is an important step to make sure you stay warm this winter. Meteorologist Ryan Munn spoke with an expert about what you should do now to make sure your heater stays running all winter long.
The first thing we're going to do is go over to the thermostat and verify that the system is functioning. We're going to turn the thermostat up, make sure the boiler fires, everything's working.
The next step, if you have one, would be to look at the oil tank and make sure it's running properly.
We're going to check the oil tank, see the condition of it, the age of it. We're going to check the fuel level. We're going to clean the filter, change the filter at the tank. We're also going to clean and change the filter here.
Smith says they'll also check the fuel pump to make sure it's sending the right mixture and pressure of fuel. Then the process of cleaning the unit can start. However, there are things that you can do yourself.
The easiest things for a homeowner to do proactively with their heating system would be change the batteries on the thermostat. This should really be done once a year.
Heat pumps are becoming more common, and there's a very easy step you can take to making sure it's running as efficiently as possible.
The easiest thing a homeowner can do to clean it is every month or so to clean the filters, which are located right inside this door. So there's 2 filters in this unit, and we can simply pull them out. You can see they're a little dusty. We'll rinse them under the kitchen faucet, and then we'll go ahead and just reinstall them.
No matter what heating system you may have in your home, it's important to hire a licensed professional to clean your unit.
Now, for many of us, space heaters are also a great way to keep things warm in the winter. But they come with risks. Meteorologist Teresa Carter explains how to stay safe indoors when the temperatures turn frigid outside.
Electrical fires are a leading cause of home fires in the U.S., followed by heating. Here are some tips that can keep you and your family safe as the weather turns colder. Check your furnace, fireplace, or space heaters and make sure that they are in proper working condition. When using a space heater, keep them on a flat and stable surface and make sure that the heater has an automatic shut-off, so if it tips over, it shuts off. Have heating equipment and chimneys cleaned and inspected every year by a qualified professional. Make sure that the fireplace has a sturdy screen to stop sparks from flying into the room. Ashes should be cool before putting them in a metal container. Check your electrical cords. If they are cracked or damaged, replace them. Don't try to repair them. And don't overload extension cords or wall outlets. Never use extension cords with appliances. furnaces. Plug them directly into wall outlets. Ensure that a carbon monoxide alarm is installed in addition to smoke alarms. Carbon monoxide can be difficult to detect without an alarm and can be fatal. Be fire safe by taking action to ensure you and your family stay safe over the cold months.
And time now for a short break, but first, let's take in the views of fall foliage in Maryland.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Taking a look here at what your next weather maker will be. We got some rain starting to move its way into Nebraska and Kansas, slowly trying to move its way a little bit farther east as we head into the next few days here. It's with a cold front, so it will cool down some behind that. However, big picture here, as we continue on into the end of the week, temperatures still remaining near or above normal for most of the Midwest.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Looks at your forecast across the region. Really pleasant, cool in the morning, 40s and 50s, Oklahoma to Arkansas, 50s and 60s across much of Texas and Louisiana. Throughout the day, a lot of sunshine for most. Temperatures climbing to the upper 70s to low to mid 80s. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather across portions of the Texas Panhandle into western Oklahoma for an isolated strong to severe storm. Otherwise, nice conditions will fall back into the 60s, some 50s overnight.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson. Here's what's happening across the West. Temperatures have been cooling down dramatically as we're getting into the Pacific Northwest with rain showers continuing and cooler temperatures too across parts of the Southwest. The Four Corners may even have some isolated areas of snow showers in the mountains, especially around the central Rockies. This cold front continues its southward track and everyone will begin to cool down with some mountain snow, but most of the rain showers staying in the Northwest. That's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
A look at the recent Hunter's Moon, situated just right in between the spires of the U.S. Air Force Memorial in Arlington, Virginia, and the moonlight shined brightly and illuminated morning-time fog settled over this valley. A look at the comet from Wisconsin, fall color brilliance from Lake Winnebago, and the warm glow of sunset in Rhode Island.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
Now, when colder and drier air moves into an area, it can increase the chances of wildfires. Meteorologist Kit Alexander explains.
When winds increase and relative humidity drops, moisture is drawn from fuel-producing plants like trees, brush, and grass. It goes without saying that warmer or hot temperatures will make the spread of wildfires worse. Here's a couple tips you can implement to prepare your home for dry conditions and wildfires. Make sure to keep roofs and gutters clean. If possible, create a fire buffer of at least 30 feet from trees or anything that could act as fuel. If you do any outdoor burning, make sure to heed the latest watches and warnings.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Janae Bowens. Make it a great Monday, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.